Hey everybody. So this is my presentation on social emotional learning. As I was going through the week one resources, this is what I kind of took from those two videos. Um, so SEL is the process of learning social emotional skills. It's kind of the name, one thing that I made a big topic or a big point on is that it works best when it's taught early and continued throughout high school. Now, this makes sense since students are always going to be with other students throughout school. They're going to have to face different problems either within themselves or at home or with other people. And so it's really important that SEL teaches students how to manage their emotions and make sense of their behaviors. And so by learning things like empathy, students can show care and concern for other people. They'll be able to problem solve and make responsible decisions. And hopefully, when they're in school, they build healthy relationships that can last a long time. Um, SEL to me, I think is really important because where I work, a lot of the students don't necessarily have a positive person in their lives, um, and so being a somebody positive in their lives that makes them feel heard and provides a safe learning environment where they feel like they belong is just really important to me because they can get away from whatever kind of trauma that they have at home or whatever kind of trauma they've experienced and kind of not leave it behind necessarily but understand it and understand themselves a little bit better so that in school they're able to be more successful. Um, also to me I think it's also important because one of the main things that I've kind of known to really be passionate about is just helping out my community and being a part of the community and where I work. There's a lot of gang violence, and so I just feel like it's really important early on to for students to know how to accept other people and how to relate to others. So we could find middle ground and kind of start to get along a little bit better. But that's all going to start with understanding yourselves and knowing how to deal with your own emotions and how to make sense of whatever you're going through. Um, some things that I do in my classroom that I really like are like morning meetings. So morning meetings are a 5 minute meeting that I have every morning. When I first started doing this at the beginning of the year, it's me leading the I'm the one facilitating, but as time goes on and I see students kind of get into that leadership role, then I'll have those kind of students lead the meetings and they really get a chance to just kind of get to know each other a little bit more. They like to share things that they did the previous day or whatever they did after school or just anything is up in the air at that point. But you can really tell that the students are building relationships there and even if a student has a problem, I've seen in the past where without anybody telling them or instructing them, they'll kind of give each other advice or they'll say, oh, maybe next time you should do this. And it's just I feel like it builds a really good community and it really helps my classroom with their behavior. At my school, we use Second Step. That's our curriculum, and it's pretty good. It goes through everything from bullying prevention all the way to learning empathy, and it's good because it has a lot of videos where students are going through different kind of scenarios, and you have prompting questions along the way that you ask students, and it really works out because they provide us with posters that we put up on our walls and outside the school. And so you're always able to relate to certain lessons, or you're able to relate to certain skills and go back to certain skills. I mean, um, even when you're not teaching SEL. And one other thing that I like to do is secret scouts. So secret scouts, for example, is I'll call two or three students in the morning, without anybody knowing, and I'll let them know like, hey, you're going to be a scout this morning, and their job is to find two or three people to to say like, hey, you're doing a good job at this, or I really liked how you did this. It has to be specific feedback, I guess, or they have to comment on them specifically. And what they do is they'll write on a little index card. They share their name, or they write the person's name on the index card. They don't share their name, but they fold it and put it in a jar that I have. It's a pretty big glass jar. They put it in there, and then at the end of the month, you know, if you students can pick out their names from the jar and see if they got any. And more than I try to call on a lot of students, and so um, at the end of the month, a lot of students get positive, um, I guess, recognition for things that they do, and so it feels really good to have that kind of community in my classroom. But I hope to learn more about SEL. Being in this class and then going through the next two SEL classes, and hopefully I can just learn more things that I can put into my classroom and just kind of get going from there. But I'll be seeing you guys around.